So I have learned a lot as a business owner. Over the course of the last number of years, I have learned a lot about myself, what I like to do, what I don't like to do, what I'm good at, what I should maybe hire people to do instead of me. I have learned about the different types of people that I want to work with. It has been challenging to build a business, but it has also been the most rewarding thing I've ever done. It is so hard because at the end of the day, as a business owner, it's all on you. And when I first started this business, I had the goal and the idea that I wanted to be a solopreneur. I did not want to have employees because I had had employees through my entire career. I was used to building and managing and leading teams across multiple industries. And with that came a lot of drama. Came a lot of challenges, I think sometimes with personality conflicts and with issues that would pop up. I'm not easy to work with either. I will full well admit that. And so becoming a solopreneur was something that I really craved. And I really wanted it for a number of years. Like when I first started thinking about the idea of wanting to do a business back in 2017, I was dreaming about the idea of never having employees, but I still worked, for years for other companies. So when I finally branched out on my own and was able to start doing stuff I wanted to do, being by myself, I was so much happier, so much more fulfilled. The challenge became, as I got busier, I realized I can't do it all myself. And I also can't grow and scale if I'm doing everything myself. So I have to hire. My wife was the first person to join our business. She left her work to kind of come help me because she could see that, hey, we're having success, but I'm busy and I need help. So she helped. She was able to offload some stuff. It's not, obviously, ultimately what she loves to do, what she wants to do, because, she's not as passionate about it as me, but she behind the scenes, she's helping. And then eventually I was able to hire, a couple assistants and some part-time work, and I subcontracted some work out that needed to be happening. And sometimes got burned, by the wrong person. Maybe the quality's not where it needs to be. I came to realize the more I started hiring editing companies, and at this point now I've gone through, 3 or 4 different editing companies to help me on some projects. I'll do a lot of editing myself, but like hiring and outsourcing to different companies to help me when we're doing as many videos as we do. My expectations versus what is actually available was so unrealistic. You see, when I first started the business, I would do all the recording and all the editing myself. And I would be able to turn it around so quickly because that's all I would focus on. I'd work all hours of the day to make sure I turned everything around as fast as possible. But I realized that the clients don't need to have all the videos. And we're talking like, say, 40, 50 videos turned around within 24 hours or 48 hours or even a week. It can go longer. But I struggled with the idea of going slow. And so this whole speed versus quality thing was this dilemma that I had because I thought I could produce good quality work, and I was, but I was trying to do it so quickly as well. But when I eventually started hiring editing companies and I realized they're not turning them around as fast as I want, I would initially get really worked up. I'd get really upset about it because I'm thinking I need to turn this content around. The thing is, I was getting less videos done per day than I'm used to doing myself, but the videos, I'll have to admit, are much better. So it was a trade-off. And I think that's something that's important to note is it's better to take quality than quantity. For a long time in my business, I focused on quantity. And maybe I still think about it a lot, but it has to be about quality. Quality is what makes a difference. As I started using video editors versus me editing everything myself, I started to realize that some of the content that I'm creating for myself and or for clients is actually leading now to more business, more interest in me, people who wanted to have conversations because they've seen the quality of the work that's done. And if it wasn't for the investment in other people to do the work, not for me to do the work, I don't think I would have as much success as I have had so far in this new fiscal year. We're only a few months in, and I was able to beat what I made all of last year from a revenue perspective as a result of making the right investment. Now, the problem I have, and what I've learned, is that now because I've hired editing companies and I'm obviously doing work and my wife's doing work, the cost to fulfill is so much more, right? I can't be sitting there and doing the same quality and quantity of work for the same price as I once was. So it becomes this method of how do I figure out what to properly price, right? Because my costs have gone up dramatically a year ago till now. And so as a result, clients that I signed a year ago, I have to make adjustments. The challenge being they've now gotten used to a certain standard and they think that they're getting at that price where I'm losing money technically. So the lessons I've learned here is that it's not easy to run a business. It's hard to run a business. You're always tweaking and changing and evolving, but it's the best thing I ever did. And I don't know if there is something else I'd rather do other than probably playing poker. But to me, it's about making sure you're doing it profitably. And the most profitable way is ultimately sometimes to buy back your time.